Hello everyone, Halloween Horror Nights is upon us. Here's what you need to know before you go. But before we begin, we publish theme park videos on this channel all the time. So hit that subscribe button and that bell notification button so you'll know when another video is ready for you to view. So here's some information before you even get to the event.
Yes.
I would say get your tickets online.
Yes, or Publix.
Right, HalloweenHorrorNights.com, that's the site you want. I'm gonna leave a link to that, but it's way better to get it online than like to come purchase them here.
Exactly.
But you're right, Publix does have tickets there, single night tickets and the multi-night tickets, right?
Exactly, and that avoids having to stop and at will call and get it printed, because you're gonna want to use that ticket again and again. So if you are at home and you're printing out the paper one, you're gonna have to go get an actual ticket.
But what about for single night though?
For single night, that's fine.
Yeah,
the paper one
just
is
print
great.
it out. Exactly. What we did, we bought ours online weeks ago, and then at our convenience, when we were here, we picked them up at will call.
Yeah, it was a fun day. It's always a good day when you get in your tickets, you're excited.
But it can get insane outside the gates.
Yes, so don't do it that night. Try to do it ahead of time if at all possible.
Yeah, multiple ways to try to do it ahead of time. I do want to mention, often on Halloween Horror Nights nights, that's the main entrance there. A lot of times they will open up the exit as an entrance, and the lines are usually shorter over here at the exit. But the best way to avoid that mess outside is to already be in the park.
Yes.
So if you already are here, if you already have passes like park passes or a park ticket, be in the park for Stay and Scream.
Exactly. You can make sure that you're in before 4:45.
Yeah, because they want everyone out by 5.
Exactly.
They kick everyone out by 5.
The event officially starts at 6:30, and you will be holed in a holding pen, a couple different areas.
Couple different spots.
Yes, and it will lead you to different houses, which we will talk about where the houses are.
Yeah.
But, so if you're going to do it multiple times, stay at different spots.
Stay and Screams.
Yeah, different stay and Screams. But highly recommend that, because then you get a jump before everybody else gets let in the gate. You're already almost there to the opening of a house. That
is the best way to avoid the mess that's going to be out front. Now, Halloween Horror Nights is a separately ticketed event.
Yes.
You can't get in here just with your regular day pass or your annual pass. So let's talk about the pricing they have for all the ticket levels. And I should note, the prices are going to vary depending on what night you go and like how late in the season you go.
Exactly. The closer you get to Halloween, the more expensive.
And the weekends are going to be more expensive than the weekdays.
Single night tickets from $68 will vary on the night selected. And then pass holders get special discounts on the HHN website. Multi-night passes range from around $110.
That's like the Rush the Fear, or like ours is the Frequent Fear Pass.
Right.
So those start, the lowest one starts at that $110.
Gotcha. There is also a multi-night pass that bundles your express pass with it, and those are around $360.
Yeah, that's the base price, the lowest one that you're going to get for a multi-night pass that comes with express pass, $360. That's the cheapest you're going to be able to get it.
Single night express pass starts around $90, and the Scare Actor dining experience starts around $50. The RIP tour starts around $200 a night. And there's also a day tour time behind the screens tour.
Yep.
That tours the houses
with the lights on.
With the lights on, so you can see all the details and everything. I kind of want to do that.
Yeah,
wow,
that's pretty cool.
Really awesome. We've never done that before.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
And then there also is a hotel package that includes your night stay at a hotel with like your Halloween Horror Nights ticket, and that starts at $135 a night. I do recommend, if you're only going to be here for one night, Express Pass is so worth it.
Yes, with this many houses, to be able to get through everything, Express Pass is definitely a worthwhile investment. Now, be warned that on super busy nights, you still might wait in line with an Express Pass for 45 minutes.
I remember last year, the Stranger Things house with Express was like a 45-minute wait.
Yeah.
But it was super long without it.
Yeah, so it's like 2-3 hours without it. So you're definitely cutting down your wait time, but it's not going to be a complete like walk into.
Yeah, if you're here for just a one night, you have to do Express, I would say.
Yeah.
Because the wait times for the popular houses, over an hour, easy over an hour.
Exactly. Here's a pro tip also with the Express Passes, is that if you do the stay and scream so that you're in the park before they let in for Halloween Horror Nights, hit up a house that has a low wait time first and don't use your Express Pass. That way you can come back later if it's a house you really like and use your express pass then.
Exactly. If the wait time's low, I would say under 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a low wait time. Pop in there without the express, and then later on you can revisit it with the express when the wait time's up there.
Right, because express passes are only one time per house. You can't use it multiple times per houses.
Right.
So that's a good tip to keep in mind.
So now what we're going to do, we'll take a clockwise loop around the park, talking about the scare zones and all the houses and everything else.
Excellent, and we'll show you some of the props that are out, which I'm really excited to see. They've put a lot more out since I've been here last.
All right, let's get to moving. So we are currently walking through what's called Production Central.
Yes.
This is the first scare zone. This is going to be an arcade.
Right, and here's another tip too, I forgot to mention earlier, is that make sure you update your app, your Universal Orlando Resort app, because there's games that you can play in line, and there's a specific game
for this scare zone?
For this scare zone this year.
And this scare zone, you can tell by the terminology, it's based off the words arcade and the word anarchy. So it's going to be related to like some video games. I'm sure there'll be like old-fashioned 80s video game props out later on.
Oh yeah.
And while this, like Halloween Horror Nights, is not themed for the 80s completely, it will have a strong 80s vibe with Stranger Things and this particular scare zone.
Well, that makes sense though. If you look at where the two houses are, which we're going to talk about, Ghostbusters and Stranger Things, that's kind of an 80s themed. So it makes sense. It is
strongly 80s connected.
I like it.
Now with this scare zone, I am interested to see what the scare actors are like. I bet they're going to be like arcade attendants. They'll probably have like bags of like tokens and coins that like shake at you to scare you.
That'd be funny.
Just my guess, we'll see though. And that brings us to our first house right here by the amphitheater. This is where the queue is going to start for Ghostbusters.
Just be aware that the houses that they are predicting to get the most action,
Ghostbusters is going to be crazy.
To be the most popular will be in the sound stages. So the one back here that's behind the amphitheater is a sound stage. Type of
one of the big studios.
Yes, exactly. So imagine it to be huge. And we heard that the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is going to be really, really big inside there.
He's there and he's huge.
He's huge. Wrong theme park.
You know, there used to be a Ghostbusters attraction right here at Studios. That's why it's going to be really popular. Pass holders and like fans of Universal, they are so excited to have something of the Ghostbusters back here. And at the edge of Production Central is the Monster Cafe. This is where they're going to have the scare actor dining experience, which starts at what, $50, Nikki?
Yes,
that's what we said before?
Yep.
So, always fun. This restaurant in here is so heavily themed. It's like a very, very clever, it's beautiful in there almost.
It is. It's fantastic. And it matches my shirt.
Oh, it does. It does. The next house we're going to have is going to be the Yukon Yeti. It's going to be located over here again near the Production Central area by the Jimmy Fallon. I'm not exactly sure where the queue's going to start. It may start, you know what? I bet it's going to start in the Jimmy Fallon queue. Typically, the entrance for that house would probably be right here in the Jimmy Fallon entrance. And across from Jimmy Fallon, right over here, this is going to be the Star Court Food Court. Personally, I'm hoping for a little Scoops Ahoy here. Shouldn't they have some Scoops Ahoy? So as we walk towards the New York Public Library, right over here, that's where the Ghostbusters attraction used to be. There goes a roller coaster. But back this way, there will be two houses. There will be the Us house and the Stranger Things house, based on season 2 and 3 of Stranger Things. So right back this way, right through there, a couple of studios where they will have the Us house and the Stranger Things house, which reminds me, we need to talk about the movies you have to see before you get here. In fact, if we peek over the fence here, good thing I have long arms, we can see some of the like the queue signage.
Yeah, 4 of them.
Where we had Us, Ghostbusters,
Stranger Things, and the Yeti.
Yeah, so it's so close to being here, people. Now, where was I? Oh, I wanted to mention, here's a list of movies you should watch before you get here.
Exactly.
It makes like the scare zones and the houses more fun. Like last year, you had not seen Killer Clowns at all.
No. Until
we found out like it was gonna be a scare maze. So we watched that movie, and we had to have watched it to get some of the little references and innuendos they were making within the scare zone.
Yeah, the little details like the kissy marks on the ice cream guys, or you know, the projection mapping on the wall. So yeah, to pick up all those little fun details. check out these movies.
Watch the movies. I will put a list and perhaps a link to the movies in the description. Right as we enter New York, this is the Zombieland Scare Zone. But right over here in Stein & Company, this will be the Halloween Horror Nights tribute store where you can get your official Halloween Horror Nights merch. Now for your unofficial Halloween Horror Nights merchandise, visit my store. I have a category for Halloween Horror Nights. I've got Rob Zombie stuff in there. I've got Ghostbusters stuff, Stranger Things stuff. Anything that's an IP, I have in there.
Right, and we handpicked that stuff, so we thought we picked out the coolest stuff.
Yeah. So go check that out. You can buy that before you even get into the park.
So you're prepared on day one.
Now back to this scare zone. It's based on Zombieland Double Tap, which is a new movie. It's a sequel to the original Zombieland with Woody Harrelson, which was about 10 years ago.
Right. Now, has that movie come out yet?
It is not. Double Tap is not out yet. Some of this, I know the last movie ended in the carnival.
Okay.
So we do need to rewatch that movie.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been 10 years since we saw it.
Yeah, I barely remember it.
But there is a lot of space for this scare zone. So there will be a lot of stuff happening. They've got some stages for some little performances here. This is usually a top-notch scare zone because it's so large. And since we are in the Zombieland Scare Zone here in the New York section, across the street from the Mummy is Finnegan's. This is one of the stay and scream areas, probably the most popular. Why? Because Finnegan's here. People can go inside, get a cold drink, cold beverage, eat a little food. More shade over here.
And it opens up to 4 houses.
Yeah, oh yeah, because we've got your houses over there. Us, Stranger Things, Ghostbusters,
and Yeti.
And the Yeti. So that's another reason why this stay and scream area, very, very popular. Another thing I get asked a lot about regarding Halloween Horror Nights is the rides. What rides are open? Stay tuned to the end of the video. I will put up a list of rides that will be open that night. We never go on the rides. We've never been on a ride, have we, on Halloween Horror Nights?
Nope.
I don't think so. We're too busy doing the scare zones and the scare houses and everything.
Yep.
But they are open. I do see people on Rip Ride Rocket and such. And before we started this video, we did go to guest services. Nikki is still in her walking boot, that bad Achilles. We are considering a couple options to how to deal with this. A wheelchair or maybe that little knee scooter thing, you know, when you put your knee up on a scooter so you don't have to walk. So what's the information you got from guest services?
Okay, so all of the lines and all of the houses will be scooter and wheelchair accessible.
Yes.
Not ECV.
Not the electronic ones.
Exactly. You'll have to transfer into a wheelchair.
Yes.
And then you can go through your house and your line. Also, for me, I was asking too, I'm like, well, what happens if I want to be in the line in my scooter, but I don't want to take my scooter in the house, I'll just walk through the house.
Right, because walking through the house would be relatively quick. It's the walking to the house and waiting in the line where you don't want to be on your foot. But going through the house shouldn't be a problem, so how do we deal with that?
So essentially, you can drop it off at the attendant at the beginning of the house. Not the beginning of the line, but the beginning of the house. And they will actually walk your
scooter or your
or ECV to the exit, so then you can easily pick it up as you walk out. So
now I'm really considering, I think we should get at least a little knee scooter for you.
Yeah. And we ran into someone here who said that it was like $150 on Amazon. So I think it's a worthwhile investment for how tired I get.
So there you go. Even if you're in a wheelchair, you got one of those little knee scooters for a bad leg, you can go through the house with it. Regarding some more information that we're collecting today, we did find out about a potty break pass.
Exactly. It's like a hall pass. Essentially, attendants will be walking around the lines, and then if you have to step out of line to go to the bathroom, they'll give you a pass to use one of the porta potties or one of the bathrooms, and then you can hop back in line right with your party with that pass.
The hall pass.
It's like a hall pass from school. It's perfect.
I hope we don't have a detention here too. Here is another prop in the New York area, the Zombieland Double Tap Scare Zone. I'm not sure how this relates to that movie. Again, I'll have to watch it. Hopefully this is referenced in the first movie, not just the sequel. We're now headed into San Francisco for the Rob Zombie Hellbilly Deluxe Scare Zone. This scare zone already has a lot of props up, out in the daytime as well. Now if they're covered up with some type of tarp, that means it's deemed a little too intense for the daytime audience. That could be young children.
Right.
But there's a couple different stages here as well. So could be some performances, which makes sense because this scare zone is dedicated to Rob Zombie music and film.
Yeah, it looks incredible, actually. I bet it's gonna be awesome.
At first take, this scare zone looks to be the best for me. And as far as daylight is concerned, obviously when they get everything out at night, that opinion may change. But first look at this, I'm pretty excited for it.
Oh yeah, some intense lighting, and they have these like big barrels that, you know, could have either flames coming out of it or,
oh, it's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be incredible, totally intense.
I will say this, Nikki, I'm a little worried about this being Rob Zombie and his music and his film. Copyright reasons.
Exactly, we have to go silent on that part.
I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I don't wanna give Rob Zombie more of my YouTube money. I wanna keep that to myself. Behind us is Diagon Alley. It will be open for Halloween Horror Nights. They do not do any extra theming.
Nope, no theming.
Per J.K. Rowling's request or demand, cannot theme this area. Moving on to the Fear Factor Stadium, this is where the Academy of Villains will be doing their show this year. There's kind of two shows this year. The Academy of Villains right here at the Fear Factor Stadium. We saw it last year, which, by the way, if you want to see any of the past Halloween Horror Nights, I'll leave links to those videos in the description of this one. We'll get to the second show as we walk around the park. So for the second year in a row, Academy of Villains in this stadium. A lot of people like it to be a street show though. They feel like it adds to the ambiance of Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, like they're more a part of the show than just sitting back in the audience and watching.
Right on.
Yeah. I really do like the show though. I swear, it leaves me pumped. You know, like I'm so stoked to go see it again because it's such a high energy, high like emotional, like pumping, like I'm not even expressing myself very well. I don't know why
you get so pumped about it. I mean, I do those dance moves all the time around the house. So behind the MIB attraction, way back here, let me zoom in. This is a scare maze, a haunted house. It's going to be the one for the House of 1,000 Corpses. I am surprised by the location of that house. I thought that would be a bigger one. Typically that house is a little smaller. So looking at the map, we have two original houses here. That way, looks like it's going to be the Depths of Fear, and then through this queue, right through that way, is going to be Nightingale's Blood Pit. Two original houses. Not officially listed as a scare zone, but typically there's some clowns or some other type of maniacs chasing you through Springfield with some chainsaws. Usually my favorite thing to do with Nikki. And speaking of my favorite things to do with Nikki, going through a scare maze, a haunted house, that's right up the top of the list. Now we can't video record within the houses, but I am going to mic you up with an audio device. Just so we can give the people a sense of what it's like to go with you, your screams, your shrieks.
I'm a big Brady cat.
That's some high quality entertainment right there.
Let me apologize ahead of time and have the mute button ready.
Into the kids zone for two more houses, we've got
Universal Monsters.
The classic monsters of Universal. I love it.
I'm very excited about that, obviously. My shirt. Yeah.
And then we have an original scare house, a scare haunted maze called
Graveyard Games.
Graveyard Games. Could be fun. Want to play some games?
I wonder if the app has to do with that as well, if there's something specific with that one.
We shall find out first night. Yeah, we are really looking forward to the classic monsters, Universal Monsters. Look at that shirt right there. Unfortunately, I do not have that one on my online store, but I've got some others like related to the classic monsters there, so go check that out. But we're so excited for this one.
Yeah, I am. I mean, honestly, you go into Monsters Cafe and honestly you can feel the awesome vibe in there.
Yeah,
you know?
And we should put that, we're gonna do the movie list, we should put the classic movies on there.
Yeah.
You have to watch those, we gotta watch those. We have got to go home and start watching some movies, a lot of movies to watch.
Do our homework.
And then also, over here at the Kids Zone, at the Kids Zone Pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza fries.
Yes, a must do.
And Twisted Tater. We had those during pass holder appreciation nights just to get us warmed up for Halloween Horror Nights. But you just got some new information just now, didn't you?
Yes. Insider source, during the RIP tour, there should be a private bar up on the Jimmy Fallon deck up above. And then also pizza fries will be offered
at Lombard's.
At Lombard's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More than one location for those world famous pizza fries.
Yeah.
Moving into the East Green of Central Park, this will be another scare zone. A very popular one in the past. I can see they don't have the jack-o'-lanterns up, but they do have like these lanterns and skulls. This is going to be the Vikings Undead.
I'm looking forward to this one. You know, the Vikings, they're pretty vicious.
So
could you imagine if like the scare actors were like these great big huge wrestler type guys
with the beards and everything?
Yes, they're carrying around like axes and stuff. Oh my god, that would be incredible.
Yeah, and they do have the props up, like hanging from the trees and stuff. Not the lanterns, the jack-o'-lanterns that they had last year, but these skulls and things.
I love it.
So
oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, so it will be lit up like it was in the past, just a different little bit of theming.
Yeah, and if you look over here, check out this one. This one's got like a ram head too, like skull. Oh, it's so neat.
Here in Central Park, we're very close to the water show, the fountain show. For the very first time ever at a Halloween Horror Nights, a fountain show based on Halloween Horror Nights.
Yes, it's called Marathon of Mayhem.
The Marathon of Mayhem, starring whatever's at this year's Halloween Horror Nights. So there'll be like some Stranger Things going on there. There'll be what?
The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, I'm
Ghostbusters,
sure is coming.
exactly.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, anything related to this year's Halloween Horror Nights, it'll be in this fountain show. And what we'll do, we will record the whole thing and I will post that as a separate bonus video.
Yeah, I would think that's a great idea just because of the copyrighted music, but then I want to see it all. Like, I'm so excited. I want to see it in its entirety.
We don't have the times for this yet. I assume it's going to run like continuously or every so often. I think it will add to the ambiance, the feel of Halloween Horror Nights. I'm really stoked for this.
Me too.
Okay, we have one more scare zone to talk about and one more haunted house right here on Hollywood Boulevard, Vanity Ball. And they have a couple stages set up, Nikki.
Yeah, and each stage has a name, like Metamorphosis.
Yep.
That one is like what means to change,
yes.
right? So I can see the plastic surgery and the changing of, you know, your face. And then what's this next one? Plasmare, kind of like plastic or maybe
yeah, kind of a
surgery.
Plastic surgery and nightmare. So yeah, I get it. I get it. So,
and they kind of look a little bit like doctor's offices, like where you would get, I don't know, Botox or something.
Yeah, well,
so.
you're on Hollywood Boulevard. You gotta go see the plastic surgeon. Get all fixed up for the movies, I guess.
Exactly, take care of the wrinkles.
So there'll be a couple little shows going on here, and who knows what's gonna be wandering around. Probably some nurses and doctors with scalpels and stuff on the streets here.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Maybe some like plastic surgery nightmares.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be awesome.
It is my understanding that in here in the Beverly Wilshire will be a special store for pass holders. Get special pass holder only Halloween Horror Nights merchandise. We should mention, and we probably should have done this at the beginning, it can be kind of intense here. So they advise no one younger than 13. It's kind of the age cutoff.
Right.
Now it's not like enforced, it's just highly recommended. People over 13. And the last house we need to check on today, Nikki's gonna love it, the Killer Clowns from Outer Space, because there's nothing she loves more than clowns.
He's being sarcastic, y'all.
And that will be located in between, the queue for this will start in between the Hello Kitty store and the Brown Derby.
Yes.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Nikki's most anticipated
oh my gosh, don't
house.
speak for me.
I know you love clowns.
I hate clowns.
Nothing scary about clowns. Nothing scary about those guys.
Oh my goodness, they're the worst. I am excited to see the house though, because like when you see the movie, a lot of it is, you know, through a town, but then a lot of it is through
a circus tent.
A circus tent, yeah, you know. So I'm excited because the scare zone last year was great. So.
Yeah, we really enjoyed the scare zone, but you have to see the movie.
Yeah, get those little
a very campy 80s movie. Check it out. But right here is going to be the Haunted Maze right here. Now, one thing we should mention is the parking situation. Now, throughout most of the year, it's free parking at Universal after 6 p.m. That does not apply for Halloween Horror Nights nights.
Exactly. Now, if you have an annual pass and the 2 top tiers has free parking, it will still be covered.
That still applies. You are correct.
Exactly. But if you're just buying a Halloween Horror Nights ticket, it is not going to include parking. So predict that you're going to spend $26 for regular parking or $40 for your premier parking, which kind of puts you at the same level as the walkways.
And it should be noted, they are changing the pickup drop-off area. The current one is going to stay for buses and taxis and like shuttles.
Yes.
But for regular park guests, like people like parents dropping off their kids, and for Ubers, it's changing. Just follow the signs. They're gonna have a special lane. It's gonna be like you're gonna go in through the regular parking, but there will be a lane switch. You will change lanes and go up into the parking garage, Jurassic Park, 5th floor. That's going to be for regular people drop off and Ubers.
Yes, so be prepared for to have a little bit more of a walk than you did before.
the merchandise information has just hit the airwaves, the internet and everything. The internet's breaking right now. So we have a little bit of that information for you right now. Let's get to it. First thing we have is a black hoodie. The front's gonna say Halloween Horror Nights 2019, and the back is gonna feature all the IP characters of the main houses this year. Then we have a Halloween Horror Nights ringer tee. Again, the front graphic will feature that main graphic that we're showing this year, which is all the IP houses, their main characters from that. Then we have a t-shirt that says Maximum Screamage, which the back of this one shows an arcade game which features the name of the houses. We also have some keychains, Halloween Horror Night keychains, that are going to feature Ghostbusters. We have a tumbler, Halloween Horror Nights 2019, again featuring that graphic of all the IP houses. And then we have a couple different types of lanyards for this year. There is a 4-pack button set of the classic Universal Monsters, a 4-pack button set of Ghostbusters buttons, and a 4-pack of Stranger Things buttons. We have a Stranger Things t-shirt, the front graphic featuring the Mind Flayer, and then on the sleeve, Halloween Horror Nights 2019. And we have the 2019 Halloween Horror Nights mugs, again featuring that main graphic they are using this year of all the IP houses. There is a Halloween Horror Nights 2019 Universal Monsters glassware that's for sale this year. This is pretty neat, a Halloween Horror Nights collectible figurine of the killer clowns from outer space. This one is Shorty. A Halloween Horror Nights 2019 t-shirt featuring a graphic of all the classic Universal Monsters on the front, and the sleeve featuring the words Halloween Horror Nights 2019. We have a baseball tee of the Palace Arcade. That's pretty cool. A shot glass featuring the classic monsters for Halloween Horror Nights 2019. And there's a Halloween Horror Nights mug featuring the Ghostbusters. And the last thing I want to show today, a Halloween Horror Nights 2019 Killer Clowns from Outer Space glassware. Well, there you go, some things you should know before you go to Halloween Horror Nights, or if you're considering for the first time. Nikki, what do you say about that?
Honestly, this might be a good year. The couple of houses looked very entertaining and fun versus super scary. So, you know, I was scared for years and I'm glad I finally did it. It's become one of my favorite Universal events.
So if you're on the fence, fall to the side of going, okay?
Yeah, definitely. Give it a shot. At least walk around and enjoy the scare zones. Those aren't too bad.
And with that being said,
don't miss the magic, don't miss the fun.
Thanks for watching Rick's Flix. And now, it's time to relax. And now a quick thank you to those viewers who have visited our coffee page and bought us a cup of coffee. Thank you so much to Darren Dawson. Thanks for the support, Darren. Next up, 2 more friends of the channel, John and Rebecca from Ireland. Yes, HHN is coming, guys. And next up, a coconut smile to the Collins family, especially Katie. Keep a lookout for me, Katie. I'm the big guy in the yellow shirt. And thank you so much to Sonia T, a big supporter of the Rick's Flix channel. I really appreciate it, Sonia. And lastly, for today, I'd like to give a big shout out to some more friends of the channel, Susan, Thomas, and Tina. Thank you guys so much for the support.